Firearms are the leading cause of death ages 1 to 19, and 2/3 of those deaths are suicides. It's estimated 13 million kids in the U.S. live in a home with at least one firearm.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy J-Mo coming back at it again with another video. This is a new channel that I'm starting, and I just want to say thank you for all the likes, comment, and support on my first channel. Now with this new channel, Just In News, there's going to be a lot of breaking news and different interesting stories that are happening in our communities and situations that happen throughout the United States that I'm going to be tuning in on and just bringing a little bit more awareness to for our community and the situations that are experienced in America. So again, I truly appreciate everyone for the likes, comment, and support. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and let's go ahead and jump into that video. Now, first things first, I would like to say rest in peace to Ayobi Cook, age 29, sending condolences, prayers, and healing energy to the children, family, and friends of this tragic situation. Gun violence is a very, very important topic in the United States of America today, and this is something that tragically and unfortunately is being experienced with a number of families, and it doesn't have any type of discrimination. We're going to be jumping into our first story, which is a 12-year-old Alabama boy who accidentally shot and killed his mother. So this is a story that I just ran into this morning, and we're going to be once again jumping into this today. On Saturday, August 6, 2022, at 12:10 a.m., Jefferson County deputies received a 911 call for help at a residence in the 2400 block of Fremont Avenue in the Forestdale community. Deputies arrived and found a 29-year-old woman deceased on the scene. There appeared to be no forced entry into the home, and a man was said to be seen fleeing from the residence shortly before the 911 call was made. Sheriff's detectives were able to recover evidence on the scene and are continuing to investigate. The victim was identified as Ayobi Cook, age 29. In the initial statement, the sheriff's office said a man was seen fleeing from the house where Cook's body was found shortly before someone there called 911. In a second statement, the sheriff's office said investigators determined that the account provided by the boy was not possible. Police continued to question the boy until he admitted that he had killed his mother accidentally. The child eventually gave a true account of what happened, adding that the child unintentionally shot and killed his mother while playing with a gun. Evidence found at the crime scene suggested the shooting was in fact accidental. The boy lied and told detectives that there was an intruder in the house who ran from the scene initially. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office will turn the matter over to the family court system. The child will remain with his family, who police say have been cooperative throughout the investigation. This is a tragedy for the Cook family and the entire community. Ayobi Cook, age 29, was born on March 5, 1993. From Birmingham, Alabama, she was a registered nurse at UAB Hospital, studied nursing at Lawson State Community College, studied as a registered nurse at UAB, the University of Alabama at Birmingham. She married her husband, Dewan Cook, in 2018. Friends called her Yo-Yo and considered her to love her family and friends unconditionally, on top of being a beautiful light in this world. Cook's husband, Dewan Cook, posted on Facebook that funeral arrangements would be held on August 12, 2022. He also stated that orange was Yo's favorite color, so feel free to wear it as we celebrate her life, he wrote. Visitation will be held at Faith Memorial Chapel Funeral Services at 600 9th Avenue, Bessemer, Alabama 35020 on Thursday, August 12th between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Cook's husband is a police officer in the nearby Birmingham area and has been employed there since 2019. He had been working while his wife was shot dead, according to sources. In 2022, so far, there have been at least 169 unintentional shootings by children, according to Everytown for Gun Safety, a nonprofit that advocates for gun reform and against gun violence. Shootings by children caused 74 deaths and 104 injuries in the U.S. this year. There have been numerous cases where children have unintentionally shot their family members. About 3 million children and teens are exposed to gun violence a year, and 18,000 are shot, killed, or wounded, according to Everytown. Research by Nationwide Children's Hospital found that while parents think hiding guns will prevent kids from accessing them, 75% of children who live in a home with a gun know where it's stored. Children as young as 3 may be able to discharge a gun, and studies find that even if a child has been taught not to touch a gun, they still will, Nationwide Children says. Children may not be able to tell the difference between a toy gun and a real gun, and even non-powered firearms like BB guns, which some people consider toys, can still cause very serious injuries. In conclusion, it is very important to keep our children and families as safe as possible at all times, especially when in the presence of firearms within a residence. These tragic situations have no discrimination for anyone, and focusing on bringing awareness so that the necessary changes can be made is truly significant. Again, I would like to say rest in peace to Ayobi Cook, age 29, sending condolences, prayers, and healing energy to the children, family, and friends of this tragic situation. situation. If you find this information helpful and would like to continue the movement of spreading awareness, please join the family by clicking the like and subscribe button. Also leave a comment and let me know what you would do best to prevent the situation. New videos on the way each week with more stories and details behind situations that happen every day all around us. Always remember, on your bad days, someone is always going through something worse, and the best medicine of all is time to heal. Thank you everyone for the likes, comment, and support, and I'll see you in the next video.
My son and his best friend were posting to social media on a fake account, and the detective said there was probably 100 kids who knew your son and his best friend were playing with guns and said nothing. And that is why it is our job to protect our children from themselves.
Following Ethan's death in 2018, the Song family successfully lobbied for a Connecticut state law strengthening requirements around safe storage of firearms in homes. Opponents in the state legislature called Ethan's law too broad, but it passed with bipartisan support, and a federal version has been introduced.
I was just asking basically to step up and make sure that people cannot get a hold of unsecured guns. Eight children a day are dying because they've gained access to a gun.
30 states and the District of Columbia have passed child access prevention laws like Ethan's law. A similar measure was working its way through the Michigan legislature at the time of the Oxford school shooting.
Do you think that this is something that is not on most parents' radar?
I think it depends on where you live.
Yeah.
There are families who live with this every day as part of their reality, and unfortunately they're not getting the support and the attention that those of us who have suffered high-profile tragedies.
For more than 20 years, federally funded research into gun injury prevention was prohibited. In 2019, Congress lifted that ban. Dr. Satya is among the first to receive NIH funding to study the root causes of gun injury and death.
Obviously, this is an area that was not funded for a very long time. What did that do to our understanding of firearm safety?
If you look at the leading causes of death, whether they be heart disease, motor vehicle collisions, cancer, I mean, firearms have always been at the top, and they receive like less than 1% of the funding of those other diseases.
I feel frustrated that we continue to come forward with our stories, and the inaction continues to make Jonah's loss even worse than it already is.
Our research right now that's funded by the NIH is focused on asking every single patient who comes into our hospital questions related to firearm injury risk. And so we're actually using a model that we use for substance use, where we started asking everybody. That's what helped normalize those conversations. And then if you screen positive for access, you're going to get gun locks, firearm safety counseling, and if you screen positive for violence risk, you're going to get violence interrupters, community resources to hopefully break that cycle of violence.
How do you feel about gun ownership?
I have no problem if someone owns a gun against negligent and reckless behavior.
I would like to see there be consequences for gun-owning adults who allow children to get a hold of their guns and either hurt themselves or someone else.
I mean, we work with a ton of gun owners. Gun-owning parents are even more appreciative of having that conversation.
Surprised here in your piece, the leading cause of death for children between the ages of 1 to 19. And I've seen parents who have been in situations where they've lost someone so tragically, anybody, and they say it's not about moving on, it's about moving forward. What do these parents say about how they get through their days? They were all so compelling.
So strong. And, you know, Kristen said the trauma is truly intense. And I think for them, the strength comes from the idea that they might save another child. The strength comes from honoring the children that they lost and also being there for their surviving children. You know, their children have helped pull them out of the darkness. In fact, Kristen told me, you know, she was suicidal at one point, and her surviving son, Evan, looked at her and said, "Mom, you know, you're not going to hurt yourself, are you? Because if you check out, I'm going to be right after you." And, you know, she said in that moment, I realized I had to survive and fight for my children and my family. So the ripple effects, the concentric circles, it just goes on and on.
Huge. Where they find the strength.
Yeah. And the point was made that there is not a tension between storing it safely and getting access for the reasons you have a gun in the first place.
Exactly.